Ever since the first trailer for the Precinct, I knew I was in. Despite the impressive visuals and isometric viewpoint, it was impossible not to draw parallels with the old school Grand Theft Auto games. That's really where the similarities end though. In this particular outing, you're cast as the man in blue, specifically rookie cop Nick Cordell Jr. Fresh out of the academy, with huge shoes to fill, your late father had been the police chief years earlier, but tragically died in the line of duty. Now, you're not only trying to emulate him, but find answers about his untimely demise. For too long now, game developers have been obsessed with this idea that bigger means better. The Precinct bucks that trend with a small, dense map that is filled with character and unique locations. Averno City also manages to capture the feel of 1983 in great detail, with a little bit of Gotham vibes in there too. It was so refreshing to not spend ages travelling between objective markers, instead at times not even needing the sat-nav in the minimap to find your desired location. The world also manages to feel alive, with incidents around almost every corner and a destructible environment far beyond the level of what you'd expect from a small team. All in, what Fallen Tree Games has managed to achieve with Averno City is incredible. I've always been a fan of the isometric viewpoint, but here it really does shine. You can adjust the zoom in the settings depending on your preference. I went for the furthest zoom available to help with oncoming traffic while driving. This vantage point did not diminish any of the amazing detail that the game has to offer. As I said earlier, the story revolves around our protagonist, Nick Cordell Jr. He's looking to make both his mark on the ACPD while simultaneously trying to get answers on why his dad was murdered. Cutscenes play out with cutouts of each character lighting up as they speak. This might not be to everyone's taste, but for me it did a serviceable job at advancing the story, and honestly it was a clever idea to keep development costs down. If I had one gripe with the story, it would be that sometimes there can be larger gaps between narrative beats, but the gameplay loop was honestly so addictive that it never bothered me. Speaking of gameplay, this is where the Precinct really shines. You'll spend the majority of the game on shift. At the beginning of each day, you get to choose between a few different patrols. These can be on foot, in vehicle, or in the chopper.
Get to the chopper!
And focus on anything from parking violations to robbery suppression, anti-gang initiatives, and many more. As you progress, you will unlock more options and the ability to customise your shifts by start time, duration, location, and more. Choosing what you want to focus on is a good starting point, but don't think that a parking violation shift can't descend into a high-speed hit and run, because it can, and it will. The game does a tremendous job of balancing the seriousness of the job at hand with the absurd. I had multiple instances of someone chucking litter out their car window, and when I put the siren on to issue a simple parking ticket, it then escalated into a full-scale chase with roadblocks, spike strips, and often multiple forms of backup. Must have drugs on them, I would cry. Sometimes they did have their reasons to flee, but I did laugh at the few instances when the eventual crimes they were booked for was littering, evading arrest, and speeding. I mentioned roadblocks and spike strips. These are two of the support options you will have at your disposal. When a chase begins, you'll have a support meter at the top. Keeping close to your suspect will increase the bars, which will then unlock these options during a pursuit. It would be easy for this to become awkward and frustrating in the heat of a chase, but instead it's been implemented perfectly. The support options are selected via a wheel, and when you open it, the game screeches to almost a halt, allowing you a small window to plan your next move. Driving in the Precinct is a blast. There are many different vehicles, all with unique handling. Your starting squad car may feel a little floaty at first, but once you learn how to tame it, you'll be weaving in and out of traffic and tight alleyways to catch your suspect. When you commandeer a civilian ride, you'll put a little beacon on top, There's so many little excellent nuances like this. On-foot chases can be thrilling too, especially once you get an upgrade to time an extra burst of pace and stop your stamina bar from emptying. I had my doubts about the gunplay going in, but this was another area that I found pleasantly surprising. It isn't anything groundbreaking, and maybe if you play on the highest difficulty it could be problematic, but I found the laser sight enough to negate any potential issues with the camera. Another huge plus is that despite lots of realistic touches, Fallen Tree Games knows when to allow leniency to keep things fun. You can ask for a new vehicle and it'll spawn just out of sight. You also don't have to escort everyone you arrest back to the station. You can cuff them and leave them on the side of the road, and another patrol car will turn up in a few seconds and take them for you. Being able to delegate paperwork is also so handy. At first, I found it really fun trying to dot the I's and cross the T's on an arrest, but with one click you can also have your partner Kelly list everything you need, and then you just choose whether to fine or arrest. All of these shifts aren't just filler either. At the end of each day you'll cash in XP from the amount of arrests you made, using proper conduct, etc. This displays as a leaderboard within the precinct and also helps you rank up. With each rank you gain, an upgrade point can be used in one of the 4 categories. These are physical, combat, policing and vehicle. I found each upgrade felt like it made a difference out in the field. For the bulk of the game, you'll be trying to take down the Crimson Serpent and Jawhead gangs. Making random arrests can turn up evidence. Sometimes that evidence may lead back to one of the 2 gangs. Collect enough evidence on a gang and you'll unlock a mission to go after their captain, then their underboss, and finally the big boss. Each of these named missions are unique and require different skills in your arsenal. There are also side activities too, including rare vehicles to find, stunt jumps to complete, artifacts to find, and more. It really is an impressive amount of content, and I was constantly impressed with how much had gone into this game. However, as a trophy hunter, I was a little bit disappointed by how tight timings seemed to be in the time trials. Unless there are some workarounds that I just didn't find, I do feel like this will stand between me and my platinum badge. All in, I spent around 25 hours in Averno City. I completed 42 shifts, maxed out my character, and did a sprinkling of the additional content. The game could be completed in less time, but I wanted to explore all the different shift types and take my time becoming familiar with the city. Crime never stops though, and that suits me because I am itching to get back to work. Hopefully you found this review helpful. If you have any comments, please leave them below, and until next time, check out puredeadgaming.com and our weekly gaming podcast. Thanks guys.